China has obtained earth-shaking achievements, drawing worldwide attention due to the implementation of reform and opening up policy in the past 40 years, not only driving the world's common development, but also greatly optimizing the global governance, said several foreign officials in an exclusive interview with China Central Television CCTV recently. During the past 40 years, the country's national economy made rapid headway with an obvious increase in its comprehensive national power and international impact. Gloria Macapagal-Arroyo, the former Filipino president, described China's change as breathtaking. Some foreign officials said that since the implementation of the reform and opening up policy, the Chinese society has taken on a new look. Olafur Ragnar Grimsson, the former president of Iceland, also witnessed the prosperity of the cities in China. The fact that in the last 40 years have shown that reform and opening up has not only profoundly changed China, but also profoundly affected the world and promoted its common development. Maria Teresa, a history professor from Havana University, spoke highly of China's ability to turn itself from a poor state to a world giant. The economic globalization is an irresistible trend in history. In the last 40 years, China has realized the integration and interaction with the world economy during its open development. It is generally recognized by the international society that China's reform and opening up will be more influential and inject impetus for optimizing global governance. Stephen Perry, chairman of the British Business Association 48 Group Club, said the community of shared future put forward by Chinese President Xi Jinping has pointed out what the world needs is cooperation instead of dominance and intervention. He added, only through working together can we help the world realize win-win results. Indian police have detained separatist leaders in the disputed Kashmir region and sealed off roads in an effort to stifle protests against the killing of civilians on the weekend. Unrest has intensified over recent weeks in the Muslim-majority region at the heart of decades of hostility between India and Pakistan, and 7 civilians were killed when security forces opened fire at a protest over the killing of 3 militants. Separatist leaders Muhammad Yasin Malik and Mirwaiz Umar Farooq said they were detained as they marched towards an army headquarters in Kashmir's main city of Srinagar. Another leader, Syed Ali Shah Gilani, was under house arrest, police said. Police and paramilitary forces put up barricades in various parts of Srinagar, including on roads leading to the army headquarters, and were patrolling in force. Shops, government offices and banks were closed in Srinagar, and a nearby district and traffic was off the roads. Authorities have also shut down mobile internet and train services. Hindu-majority India accuses Pakistan of training and arming separatist militants operating in Kashmir. Pakistan denies that, saying it only offers political support to the people of the Muslim region who are being denied their rights by India's security forces. India will give financial assistance of $1.4 billion to the Maldives, says Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the biggest aid yet to the Indian Ocean island nation that is grappling with debt from a Chinese building spree. Modi made the announcement after talks with the Maldives' new president, Mohammad Ibrahim Soleh, who defeated the pro-China strongman Abdullah Yameen in a surprise election result in October and is trying to reset ties with India. During a 5-year construction boom in the Maldives, China built a sea bridge connecting the capital Malé to the main airport and is developing the airport itself, as well as building housing on land reclaimed from the sea. But the fast-paced building activity has stoked fears that the Maldives has loaded up on debt that could be anything from $1.5 billion to more than $3 billion. Modi said India stood ready to help the Maldives as a close friend and neighbour. Both India and China have been trying to build regional influence in the Maldives and other Indian Ocean countries such as Sri Lanka that lie along vital shipping lanes. Cyclone Patai has made landfall on the coast of the southern Indian state of Andhra Pradesh, damaging crops, uprooting trees and knocking down electricity poles. 1 person was killed in a landslide following heavy rain in the city of Vijayawada, local media reported. Footage showed locals taking shelter from heavy wind and rain in a bus and a school. Cyclone Patai is the 3rd cyclone to hit the coastal area. In November, Cyclone Gaja damaged thousands of houses and claimed 45 lives. Cyclone Titli wreaked havoc in Odisha and Andhra Pradesh states in October, killing over 50 people. Police in Sapporo City, northern Japan, say they suspect that an explosion may have been set off when a room full of aerosol spray ignited. The blast took place at a two-story building in Toyohiro Ward, Sapporo City. The district was crowded with restaurants, bars and houses. The building houses a real estate agency, which was completely destroyed. The fire that followed the blast left 42 people injured, including a 33-year-old employee of the real estate agency who suffered facial burns. Police say a person related to the real estate agency had released gas from a large number of cans of aerosol disinfectant for disposal when the blast occurred. Police suspect that the explosion likely occurred after an office water heater ignited the spray. The explosion shattered windows and damaged at least 20 buildings and 26 vehicles. On a flight from Hong Kong to Seoul, 4 foreign fans of a Korean idol group demanded to deboard before takeoff. They were on the plane not to come to Korea, but to see the favourite Korean Hallyu stars. About 360 passengers had to disembark from the plane and undergo security checks again. The Korean Air flight to Seoul was waiting to take off at Hong Kong International Airport. Suddenly, 4 passengers told a flight attendant that they would deboard the plane. They were 3 Chinese and 1 Hong Kong fan of Korean Hallyu boy band 101. 101 members were on board the plane after attending a music awards ceremony held in Hong Kong. The fans bought plane tickets and boarded the plane to see their favourite stars, but demanded to be let off immediately before takeoff and even demanded a refund. As a result, about 360 passengers had to disembark from the plane with their belongings and undergo security checks again. Aviation regulation stipulates that when a passenger gets off the plane before takeoff, other passengers have to be checked again for security purposes, since there may be hazardous items in the cabin. The plane took off an hour later. Korean Air refunded their airfares, minus the cancellation fee. The carrier reported the incident to Hong Kong police, but they were not punished because they did not actually cause a disturbance. Korean Air said that passengers occasionally demand to be let off the plane before takeoff with no particular reason and asked others not to engage in such behaviour that inconveniences passengers. Musan Mine is closed due to international sanctions against North Korea. Residents of the North Korean city of Namyang across the Tumen River are organizing rice straw that will be used as animal feed during the winter. When school is over, children get axes to make firewood. North Korean soldiers stationed in the Tumen River area make a fire to warm their bodies, at least for a while. And these young kids are busy playing despite the freezing weather of minus 20 degrees Celsius. The Tumen Bridge, whose construction was launched in late 2016, will likely be completed early next year, but it will not be opened until the international sanctions against North Korea are eased. Foreigners' access to the border area between North Korea and China near Heilongjiang City, located in the upstream part of the Tumen River, is blocked by Chinese security guards. Located across the river is the Musan Mine, the largest iron mine in the north. Some 10,000 of its workers have become jobless as imports of North Korean iron ore to China are now banned by the international sanctions. Trains and cranes that used to transport iron ore ground to a halt a long time ago. From severe food shortages to international sanctions and now the cold spell, North Korean residents in the Tumen River area are having one of the harshest winters of their lives. A paper cutout of a woman pictured in a field of green is one way Gaza artist Shema Dalwi incorporates nature into her artwork. The 24-year-old artist sketches drawings, then uses a cutter to create blank spaces that are meant to be filled with scenes from nature. The perfect backdrop varies from sketch to sketch. It could be a tree for one and the colour of the Gaza skyline for another. When she holds up her drawings against the pastel sky above the Gaza beach at sunset, Dalwi looks like she could be on any Mediterranean coastline. Her artistry and picturesque work do not betray the fact that Dalwi works in a besieged and densely populated enclave where many feel trapped. And Dalwi said she makes her home country Palestine the theme of her work wherever she can. Photographer Farouk Al-Jamal says Shema's art is a new and innovative kind of art for the besieged Gaza Strip. She researches about international artists and found this type of art which does not exist in the Gaza Strip or Palestine, he said. The Gazan artist currently markets and sells her work through social media. Her drawings sell for $10 to $30 each. Her next step, she hopes, is for her work to one day be featured in international exhibitions. More than 2 million Palestinians are packed into the coastal enclave. An elephant seal delighted New Zealanders by making a rare appearance on an Auckland beach. Footage uploaded to social media by onlookers shows the giant seal resting on the beach, stretching its flippers and yawning. The seal, believed to be a female, is said to weigh just under 1 ton, according to the Department of Conservation Rangers. Onlookers have been urged to keep a safe distance from the animal. Elephant seals mainly reside in the sub-Antarctic islands and are rarely spotted on mainland coastlines. Juice is a 1-foot-tall canine wonder who has starred in dozens of Chinese film and television productions. As he gets older and his illustrious career peaks, his Beijing-based master has one wish for the mutt: to live on, maybe forever. A mongrel stray adopted off the streets, the 9-year-old Juice, or Guizi in Mandarin, is unable to reproduce since he was neutered from an early age. But his master, animal trainer He Jun, wants to continue his star pooch's image by making a genetic clone. He said, "Juice is a piece of intellectual property with social influence." To achieve that, he went to Sinogene, China's first biotech company to provide pet cloning services. Sinogene made headlines when it successfully cloned a gene-edited beagle in May last year. A month later, it launched commercial cloning services. For at least 380,000 yuan, $55,065, pet owners can clone their pets. Sinogene's CEO, Mi Jidong, said the company's pet cloning business is in its initial stages, but he plans to expand services to eventually include gene editing. Mi said they had discovered that more and more pet owners want their pets to accompany them for an even longer period of time. China's biotech industry is growing rapidly and, compared with similar enterprises in the West, faces relatively few regulatory barriers. Earlier this year, a Shanghai lab produced the world's first monkey clones. More controversially, He Jiankui of China's Southern University of Science and Technology last month claimed he used gene editing technology to alter the embryonic genes of twin girls. Tin Lap Li, an associate professor of biomedical sciences at the Chinese University of Hong Kong, said while China has regulations on the use of animals for lab research, there are no laws explicitly covering animal cloning. Li said on the government side, the image of this cloning industry is very high-tech and is very supportive of those high-tech industries because of their high profit margin. In Juice's case, skin samples were collected from the animal's lower abdomen, and within weeks, Sinogene was able to isolate his DNA and fertilize an egg. The fertilized egg is then surgically inserted into the uterus of a surrogate mother, in this case a beagle. Juice's copy, called Little Juice, or ZZ in Chinese, was born in mid-September and stayed with its surrogate mother in Sinogene's lab for about a month. The puppy was later given to He at a small ceremony at which the original Juice was present. While he has not committed Little Juice to show business just yet, he sees lots of potential. "We believe he'll be even better than the older Juice," he said. The Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau HKZM Cross-Sea Megabridge handled more than 2 million passengers, according to the official data of the Zhuhai port in South China's Guangdong province. Many passengers made a special trip to the bridge from far away just to have a glance of the structure. To facilitate rapid check-in for the passengers, the Zhuhai port diverts over 4,500 passengers to check in through an alternative passage every day. It takes less than 30 minutes for Chinese citizens to clear the entry or exit inspections. At rush hours, all the channels are opened in advance to minimize the time spent on the check-in. An officer in charge of passengers inspection at the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge, Zhuhai Port, said since the bridge went into operation, the passenger flow has presented a tendency of steady growth. To date, they have handled a total of more than 2 million passengers, an average of nearly 50,000 daily. The port has also introduced the system of volunteers to provide services at special channels and e-channels for check-in. Japan's Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry has stated plans to allocate about $40 million into its 2019 budget to support flying car technology. The government has also organized a task force of companies from across aviation, automotive and information technology sectors to help Japan catch up to its competitors. The amount of money is relatively small, but it has focused industry and investors' attention on the race to make flying cars more than a fantasy. With well-developed prototypes already being tested in Europe, the US, China and elsewhere, Japan is looking to catch up. Emerging from the score of government-led companies is scrappy startup Cartivator. Cartivator has received about $375,000 in support from Toyota Motors to get their dreams off the ground. But Cartivator has a way to go if their SkyDrive manned vehicle, still in development, is really to achieve their dream of lighting the Tokyo 2020 Olympics ceremonial flame cauldron. Fukuzawa said that Cartivator's project extends beyond technology, taking on global transportation rules and norms. While Tokyo's futuristic architecture may look ready-made for flying cars, more safety measures will need to be put into place before flying cars can become a reality for commuters. Current designs for flying cars are frequently based on drone technology, which lacks the gliding flight stability of wing-based aircraft. Functional failure could result not only in deaths of flying car passengers, but also the loss of lives on the ground below.